The Harpoon is in the house. Josh Harper is here. Always a pleasure to have you with us, buddy. Josh, you're hot off a performance at the last Supreme Championships. It was against Ush Campbell. It didn't go your way. I had the chance to speak to your brother Adam earlier, and he actually confessed he gets a little bit nervous watching you fight. How did you feel about that one?
Do you know what? During the fight, I felt great. I felt like I was winning quite a few of the brawls, but I feel like he beat me in every clinch. His knees were just way quicker, but they weren't really affecting me as much. It was more the leg kicks that were affecting me. Come out of there, yeah, very bruised.
What did you take away from that fight personally and into your training now? Because now you're going from kickboxing, you're 1-1 in kickboxing, you drew in your only MMA fight so far, looking for your first W. What have you taken from that loss moving forward?
My fitness was pretty bad. Like I'm blowing throughout mid rounds, but I'm just trying to focus a lot on fitness, my slipping and head movement a lot because I'm catching a lot of shots because I keep my hands down quite low when while rewatching the fights. So I'm just trying to keep my hands up, head movement, get my fitness up, and hopefully come back way stronger.
Yeah, one of the things actually your brother and I were talking about that we took away from that fight, and if you haven't seen it, go back, check it out. It is on YouTube. Josh Harper taking on Ush Campbell. We also spoke in an interview, you and I, last time before that fight. Check it out. There's lots to talk about there. But your brother and I were talking about the fact that actually your kicks looked really good. Your understanding of the kicking distance caused some problems for him.
Yeah, just keeping him because he's quite a small fighter compared to everyone else, I would say. So like you can keep him at range, and as soon as he's out of that range, like you're open to a lot of kicks that he can't necessarily throw because of his height. But looking back in the fight, I could have utilised that more, but can't go back on it.
You win and you learn, man. You win and
Yeah,
you learn. Are you when your brother told me that he was like, man, I don't ever get worried when I train or when I go out there and when I'm going to go and compete. But I'm actually a little bit nervous when my younger brother is fighting. Are you surprised by that? And is the feeling mutual? Are you nervous for him?
yeah. Watching his first fight, I was quite shit at, to be honest, because I didn't know how it would be. I obviously had faith in him because he's really tall. Like, mate, he's a giant, and especially at his weight, I think he's fighting at 65 kg. I'm not too sure, but his height is just insane. But I do get quite scared watching him.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's just because he's my brother. Like, I feel like you kind of, if he gets in trouble, you have to be there to protect him, even though I'm the younger brother. But I don't know. You can't really do anything. You're scared that he's going to get hurt or this could happen, and all the bad things. Like, I don't think about my fight that could happen. I'm then thinking about him for his fight. Like, what if this happens? Then what if this happens? It's scary.
Yeah, it seems like there's a mutual camaraderie there, right? There's a
Yeah.
selflessness, where because I asked him this question and I'm going to ask you again, how would you describe your relationship in and out of the gym, on and off the mat? How would you describe that?
When we were younger, we would argue all the time. We would fight all the time. Like, when we argue, it's hands are being thrown. My head's been hit through a window before. Like, but as soon as we've like grown up, we've just become like really close friends. Especially training, like we'll kick the shit out of each other, and then straight after we'll hug each other, and then we'll just chat shit, and then we're fine afterwards. Like, I feel like we have a good relationship. Yeah.
And do you think that people talk about it, and I joked you guys are going to be the Diaz brothers of the Supreme
Yeah, yeah.
Championships. Does that kind of thing just only get amplified when you are in a competitive martial arts environment? Because let's be honest, if you guys were doing chess or if you were doing cheerleading, there are male cheerleaders, yes.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
might be a different thing though, right? It might be a totally
Yeah.
different feel to it.
Yeah, but I think because we train together, we're there to like motivate each other a lot more. Like, if one of us is late to training, we'll call each other up and be like, "Get down here now," and we can sort of have that aggressiveness without coming across as aggressive. So it's kind of like a joke, but we're being serious. Do you know what I mean?
I do, I do. And do you think it made you a better fighter because of all this though?
Yeah, like, he's definitely one of my top motivators. Like he's always getting on to me, like you need to train, get down there, do this, and he motivates me more than anyone, I would say, and
I love it, man.
it feels great.
It's important, right? You have to have
Yeah,
somebody or something that keeps you humble and accountable. And what better than family, right?
yeah.
Um, Moving on now, you are fighting on this show. You're fighting in MMA. Why MMA now?
Because I think I just wanted to get a feel for what it's like to be in the cage, have the people around watching, get rid of those nerves before I went into an MMA fight, and just so I could touch a few things up before I actually did go into an MMA fight.
And do you think is it MMA or kickboxing that motivates you more long term? Would you say?
MMA, yeah,
Why?
100% MMA. I don't know. That's what first fell in love with when I first started training, and yeah, I just loved it, and I feel like I'm well rounded. So I'm good at the floor, I'm good at stand up game. So why not just put them together and just fight MMA?
Do you think you'd end up doing like a little bit of jujitsu, a little bit of kickboxing, maybe a little bit of boxing, some of the other stuff? Because if you do want to be a complete MMA fighter, it must give you some advantages or pay some dividends if you are in other sports at times.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm still doing jiu-jitsu down here, training. Um, so I do jiu-jitsu twice a week. We do a lot of K1 during the week and then MMA sessions straight after. So we're always touching up on different areas.
I love it. I love it,
Yeah.
man. And I think it's important to talk about in this interview because we did discuss this in the previous one. You told me about your history. You said, you grew up and you were bullied in school. You didn't find school a great fit. You told me about
No.
your background in dancing, which I think is freaking awesome, by the way. Dancing. You're a dancer. And I asked you the honest question. Do you think it might have been different if you'd have found martial arts earlier in life? And you said it might have. Have you reflected on that at all in the last few months since you did fight, lose, and now you're coming back again? Does that play on your mind at all about the gifts that martial arts maybe has given you moving forward?
I think because I'm quite an angry person, I'd say, like that it might have helped me a lot more to deal with that anger and get the energy and all the anger out during training instead of letting it build up and then it all coming out in one outburst. So I think finding martial arts earlier might have helped me with that. But I don't know.
Did you get angry after your loss?
I was happy with it. I was annoyed obviously, but I felt like I did better in the fight against Ush compared to the first fight, because obviously Ush was my second fight for K1, but I felt like I did way better than how I did in the first round.
Huh. Talk to me about Zach Young.
Ooh. So he was a fight I fought on a show called Fusion a few weeks back. I had two low blows. One that it was I took about 3 minutes off for it because it was horrible. Then come out of that first round, there was two low blows in that first round. Then midway through the second round, hand open, eye poke, and yeah, doctor come in, and because it was fully closed though, I couldn't open it, and yeah, the doctor called it off. But
At
not
what point in
happy.
the fight was that again? Sorry?
That was so the two low blows were first round,
Yep.
and then second round, eye poke.
Which is why it was ruled a no contest because you didn't have 2 rounds in the books. You think you were winning the fight?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was winning the fight 100%. Even
What's he
though
said to you?
well, before I actually saw the photos, we were chatting, we were all fine. But as soon as I saw the photos, I was like, "There's no way that can be an accident." His right hand. Oh no, I think it was his left hand was closed, but his right hand that poked my eye, open palm, dick move.
I'm going to ask you another personal question. Does that make you angry?
Yeah, thinking about it because I was dominating. Well, I wasn't dominating. I was outlanding him, and I felt like the strikes. They were most of them were going through hitting, and the fact that I'd improved so much, and then it just to be all be shut down the way it did, yeah, just kind of like upset me a lot afterwards.
Really what I'm trying to ask here is, like, from that experience, whatever has been said, whatever has been done is in the past. How do you channel all this moving forward in relation to him, in relation to fighting him again? Is that a rematch you want, or
Yeah,
maybe what you've got on tap for May 21? Sum it up, because you got to move on. You got to keep moving forward in this game.
yeah, there's no way I'm letting that go. I've messaged him on Instagram telling them I want a rematch. I've said straight after the fight, let's do this again, 100%. I think it'll be a great fight because there's a lot of tension now because we've obviously been going at it on Instagram. I've been posting stuff, trying to build it up more. So I definitely want another fight with him, 100%, and get it on the home show as well.
If I go on your Instagram right now, am I going to see a post on there?
I can post one. This was 3 weeks ago, but I would happily post one again just to keep it going.
So we're gonna do something right now. We're gonna do the old Instagram hot take. We're gonna cut it. I'm gonna ask you very, very, very clearly right now, if Zach Young had called you up just now on that phone call you had, and you had 30 seconds to say something to him, what would it be?
What's the language barrier?
Let's keep it PG-13.
Keep it PG.
PG-13.
Well, if he called me up, 100%, I'd call him a few things. I'd say, we're having this fight after I beat this kid on this show coming up. He's next. And is he not leaving out that cage, walking? He would come out in a stretcher.
How does it end, and in what round?
I think I want to make him suffer for 3 rounds. 100%. Just beat him 3 rounds around the cage.
Them's fighting words, Harpoon. Them's fighting words, my man. Listen, it's always great to talk to you, man. And I think, to be able to hear your story, to be able to see your journey, to be able to see what's gone down, I think it's important. I think it's important. And I wish you guys the best of luck. Both of you, the Harper brothers, on May 21 and everything else that you guys are up to. Final question for you. Are you familiar with the fight between Andy Manzolo and Justin Moore?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
do you
I
think
think
about
that's going
that?
to be a brilliant fight.
It's just been
Because that's,
canceled. They
yeah.
just canceled the fight. The news is Justin Moore has an injury. Andy Manzolo I talked to yesterday, and you know what he said? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you a
No,
little
I
inside
haven't
take
heard
here.
about this.
Let me tell you. The fight just got canceled yesterday, or a couple days ago, rather. I had Andy Manzolo on an interview yesterday, and he said exactly kind of what you said about Zach. He said, I kind of want to give him the decision. Does he want to suffer, and does he want to take the pain route and get beat up with the feet and the hands, maybe suffer a knockout? Does he want the easy way out? Is he going to tap and give up easily and get submitted? Or is he going to have to deal with me for 15 minutes? The choice
Yeah.
is his, he said. He said the same thing you said, more or less, about Zach Young. But looking at that fight, do you have any technical breakdown or sort of opinion you could give to the fans watching?
To be honest, I've seen Andy fight on the last show against Ben Schneider, I think it was. And he came out and he was very good. Like, he's a very technical boxer, but I think he's very good on the floor as well. So, he's well-rounded fighter. Justin, I haven't really seen much of Justin's fighting. I've never really watched any of his fights. So I would sit and watch that fight the whole way through. I
Do you
think
have a
it'll
pick?
be everyone will be on their feet. Andy, I think Andy will win.
Stoppage?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think Justin will last past round 2.
All right. The Harpoon. Josh Harper. Looking forward to seeing you, man. The
Yeah.
17-year-old prospect. Looking forward to having you back on Supreme Championships, man. Listen, any other final shout-outs, thoughts, words for the World Wide Web?
One fight to watch out for: Kane Stray. He's every day on the mats, first one on, been working his ass off. Be his debut MMA fight against some Jurgen guy from Norway. A
Jurgen
lot
Skurin.
of talk.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. A lot of talking between those two. I think it's going to be a brilliant fight. one to
All right.
definitely watch out for.
All right. All right. I love it, man. I love it. Listen, Josh Harper, always a pleasure, man. Have a great rest of the day over there, okay?
Cheers, dude. You too.
All right.